Hello everyone, I'm Endymion for the Dork-at-Arms, etc., and I went recently to the Great Western War, big SCA event. For those of you who are not in the SCA and are not aware, basically the SCA is divided into various kingdoms, and they have these sort of inter-kingdom events called wars, and the wars involve like having melees, which is like big group fights and everything, where there will be like specific scenarios set up for rapier fighters and everything. And they also have melees for the heavy fighters with the rattan sticks and the big shields and all that. But this was my second SCA event. My first was the Mist's Coronet in 2022. Great Western War is like the biggest war outside of Pennsic, and Pennsic is like the huge one, like thousands of people come by. Great West had so many vendors. That was a big one, was so many people selling awesome stuff. One of my campmates got a lot of nice clothes, and I got a couple pieces of clothes. I actually got this hat from one of the vendors. It's barely fits, but I really like it. kind of fits my sort of musketeer rapier aesthetic. And I'm going to talk about one other event in tandem to this, but I had a lot of outfits picked out, and it was a lot of fun organizing those as I collected new pieces kind of unexpectedly. But Great Western War, I had a really good time. First and foremost, talking about the melees. I've never fired a rubber band gun before, but I found it as just surprisingly fun. You know, I was a Nerf guy. It's Nerf or nothing. I was a Nerf kid when I was younger, so getting to shoot a rubber band gun and then be like, oh, I'm defenseless. Wait, no, I have a rapier. That was a lot of fun. And just one quick thing about the melees that I really frickin' enjoyed. I really enjoyed the fact that, according to the game rules of the SCA and the melees, my Siggy Fetter counted as a rapier. It's got the flex is the thing. This is a great thing. They did like a weight test for it and everything. And they were just like, yeah, that's safe under the rapier rule set. And I was just like, you mean I don't have to just use this for cut and thrust? So I went into the melees, and the first melee scenario that I went to was single rapier, no offhands, yada yada yada. Just defend the breach. Last, just as a warm up. This you don't have to die. It's infinite resurrections, which is also a thing that melees, you'll sometimes have a limited number versus an unlimited number of, like, oh, I got killed. Oh, I lost both my hands, which counts as a kill. I gotta go to the res point like it's a video game. It makes it very clear that it's a game, and it's very fun. But I got to use this. Everyone's got their, like, Castile and their Darkwood rapiers, and then I'm out here with both hands, like, and I was, like, a lot of it was set up to control gaps and to work tactically with other people. It was a very new and fun experience. The closest thing I've had to that before this was Sword Prom at the Sacramento Historical Fencing Academy, which was partnered tournament stuff. It was a lot of fun, though. The melees were super, super fun. I put a tip on my longsword, and that lasted pretty much through all of the melees. Sadly, my Castile Economy rapier broke. Blade finally gave out. That was en route home, though, so neither here nor there. But I mentioned my outfits. It was very fun seeing everybody's outfits and seeing just like the sheer amount of swag that people got. Like huge ribbons, the white scarves on the mods and everything. And there were quite a few mods that I faced in the melee. There was one particular guy I faced in the melee with my longsword a couple times, had this like demon, like this Oni paint on his mask, or like it was an additional leather piece on his mask. It looked really good. and his partner had Oni horns coming off of her helmet. And it was just they made a really great pair. And he came up to me a couple times and he was like, "Dude, you were the goat in that fucking melee." And I was like, ah. Oh, that felt really good. But I wore something from the Folsom Ren Fair, because I did the Folsom Ren Fair with the Sacramento Historical Fencing Academy. And at the end of that, our director and our primary owner ripped the flag that he was twirling around during the parades and everything, because according to legend, Lange Connect at the end of campaign would tear up their flags and everybody would wear it. So I wore this bit of the flag as my main favor that I would wear around at fights, in pickups, and it was a part of basically my daily attire no matter what I was wearing. There were also bits of my attire that were very generously purchased by the Master of Defense who I was camping with, along with a couple of friends. But the big thing was that at Great West, there was the Rose Tournament, which is that you stand to represent and fight to represent a rose, which is administrative head, so royalty, a princess, a duchess, viscountess, whatever the case may be. And I had the immense honor and pleasure of representing the Princess of Awertha. Awertha is a principality in the Kingdom of the West, so in NorCal. And I was sadly very late to the event. I didn't get there before they went through the procession and, announced our names, which was fun. Kind of a mini court session stuff. I didn't miss that, but the Princess of Awertha gave me this with 2 buttons that I plan to put into probably a doublet at the end. They look pretty nice. I believe this may have been made by one of the Laurels in Awertha. And then for being the second of her rapier fighters, I didn't make it. I made it to like the 4th or 5th round in the Rose Tournament. My first fight was up against Master of Defense, and then a lot of my subsequent fights were up against a lot better fighters. There was one specific guy who had a really just clean, perfect thrust. Again, I was using my longsword, but it was really good. And I got this ring, this little wire ring, for being the second of the Princess of Awertha's 2 rapier fighters, and the last one to go out. From one of the guys that I lost to, actually, I think one of the 3, one of the 2, I got this ring. This was another wire wrap little bit. A nice little ring from a different principality that I've unfortunately forgotten. And then after the tournament, the next day, I was recommended to the Roses Tournament by the mod that I was camping with. And the Barony of Winter's Gate in Awertha in the Kingdom of the West, a Laurel made this. And this was handed out to from the Princess of Awertha to some other rapier fighters, including myself. And that felt very special. My main thing, though, that I'm genuinely proud of was that, and I have this on the hat, so I'm just gonna, there was the Cut and Thrust tournament on either the last day or the second to last day, and the Masters Challenge was a part of that. Masters Challenge being like, you must represent the specific techniques of a historical master, yada yada yada. Hence why it's called a Masters Tournament. And I had my longsword, and I had my Meyer rapier from Purple Heart, which is back there by my lamp. So I was like, yeah, I'll do Meyer. So the people who did the Masters Challenge got this little lion. It's about 5 or 6 of us out of the 14 or 20 people who were in the Cut and Thrust tournament. And then there were people who were recognized by Fiore's Lynx. I can't remember exactly what they represent, but I think it's courage and tenacity. I think, and I got recognized basically for representing the style and the techniques of Meyer, even though it wasn't perfect. Um, my greatest takeaways in terms of SCA conduct, I want to keep doing this. I think this is a good community to get into. There were so many really nice people, so many incredibly courteous Masters of Defense and other people. I felt really, really lucky. There was somebody that I had a chance conversation with, and then I ended up teaching them. I ended up over 3 days giving them a lesson each day, and that felt really special to basically give these successive accumulative lessons on Italian rapier. And that felt very, very good to me. My actual conduct in terms of combat, I think I could have done better. I've only been doing this for about 2 years, and I've been told that I'm doing really well and that my form is really precise, which is really great to hear. And I heard that from a couple different people too at Great West. And then at another event I went to, this one more recent, which was Drake's Treaty. And a Master of Defense, I believe her name was Isolde, told me that I had a very precise form and technique, which was weird because I was using my Castile Spadroon, my economy Spadroon, so I was like, not so good. But there was a bridesmaids tournament at Great West. I didn't do so well in that. I think I got to the semi-quarterfinals. It wasn't great. But there was also a smaller bridesmaids tournament at Drake's Treaty, maybe like 20 people, maybe closer to 15, and I got 4th. And this was my prize. And it's a parrying stick. It's also a dope-ass cane, I'm not gonna lie. But it's meant to simulate, like, one of those cannon lighting stoppers. I don't know what you call those. I don't know. But all of these tournaments and all of these SEA events they communicate to me just how far I need to go, just how far I can go in terms of technique. I'm told that I'm very fun to fence. I'm not often told whether or not I am a challenge to fence. So there was a lot of fun that I had at both of these events, but I walked away initially very, very disappointed with my conduct because I can see where I'm going wrong, and I know that there are also things that I'm not seeing, that I'm not noticing, that contribute to why I'm failing. But at the same time, this is fundamentally, even if we're not in the SCA, this is fundamentally a game. Even though we are practicing the art and science of fencing, I really enjoyed these events, but it was all very humbling at the same time. The fact that I got to do the Rose tournament because a Master of Defense recommended me to the Princess of Awertha. The fact that I'm meeting with people and I'm fighting with people who have been fencing in the SCA for 5, 7, 15 years plus. And sometimes I feel like I'm giving them a run for their money. And other times I just feel like they're wiping the floor with me. This is pretty par for the course. I feel like this is going to be par for the course for pretty much the rest of my fencing journey. all that to say, I love the attire. I loved the vendors. Actually, there was some fun stuff. See, I have this. SCA rules dictate that your gorget or your gorget must be hard all the way around. This doesn't quite wrap around all of my throat, and it's got some plastic in there, but it's not considered a hard protector. So I needed a gorget. First day that I was at Great West, basically, and I was like, shite. But yeah, that was fun. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to everybody. There were a lot of people that I met that I really hope I see again. I got to meet the Queen of the East. Like, everybody, I think a lot of people that I met there were pretty surprised that she was there, and I was like, this is the only other person doing longsword. This is like, not the only other person, but like, it's the only other person consistently doing longsword as a rapier. It's so good. Yeah. There were also expectations of other things that I think I was expecting. I should attend more classes, I think. Because I feel like I would have enjoyed these classes. There were times when I was just way too tired from fighting so much. I tried to do basically every event at Great West, and then Drake's, there was a pirate tourney that I didn't have time to sign up for, and it took most of the day, so I had some pickups, and then I was in the bridesmaids, and then I left. I had to go to work. But these were very valuable experiences for me, I think. These are good second and third SEA events. And I do have a small announcement, actually, in relation to that. I am going to be at the Kingdom of the West Collegium on the 11th of November, teaching a class! So, it's going to be cut and thrust oriented, but it's going to be Meyer techniques. I'm going to be focusing on techniques and tactics for the Meyer rapier. So, techniques and tactics for the Meyer rapier. And it's going to be, the title I gave it is Going to the Four Openings, or Cutting to the Four Openings. And I think they changed the title to just be Tactics of the Rapier. Going to the Four Openings, Tactics of the Rapier. I originally called it Meyer's Rapier. But I'm going to be talking a lot about the fundamentals of Meyer's theory, and then extrapolating that to a few technical bits that I think would be good for people who do cut and thrust. So if you are available, and you want to attend that class, I will be there 2 p.m. on November 11th to teach a class for Meyer. And considering I only just got my red ribbon, which if you missed that video, I got my red ribbon in Meyer Longsword recently. That was a whole thing. But I hope that Meyer Rapier is one of my next red ribbons. Maybe my Gazelle Effector test. This is a long-ass video. I'm going to cut it short there. I really enjoy SEA events. I'm going to be doing more. I'm going to be wearing these favors, the Lange Connect flag and the, not Snagwa, Owertha favor. I'm going to be wearing those. I'm also planning on attending the Owertha Rapier Championship because I feel like I owe them that. And I'm like, I want this. Like, Owertha sounds cool. Like, these fucking laurels know what they're doing. I like this. Oh man, but yeah, I'm also doing the class on the 11th that I'm preparing for on top of juggling 2 jobs and trying to get ready for the holidays. But yeah, and I also have a walking stick. But my class is going to be based on Meyer's Rapier. It's going to include a lot of longsword stuff. But like, if you want to come, just like swing on by. And if you catch me before or after the class, I might go over it anyways. So I'm Endymion for the Dork-at-Arms, etc. Thank you.